What's going on, good people? It is the Bad Wolf. Woo! Woo! I feel like I have not been on a live in forever. And well, I guess it's kind of true because, well, I've been busy, just taking some time to learn some new things. I got lots of processes going, waiting for those things to come back, if they come back. So with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for helping me. Just as I help you guys help me. So thank you for helping us to get to 69,000 subscribers. We actually have one more thousand to go before we're at 70. And then obviously the big number to hit is 100,000. And we are on our way. It'll probably happen within the next 2 years at the rate that we're going now. So once again, thank you guys. It is always wonderful to talk to so many of you guys through Zoom or on the phone doing the consultations. We had almost 500,000 people go through blacksite32.com, guys. Like, that is insane. That is insane. I never expected this to be where it's at now, and it's only getting bigger. So even though I've been trying to relax, I had a little vacation recently. It's hard for me to relax. I still stay busy reading and getting things done around the house and consultations and emails, but once again, so if you guys go to Black Site 32, make sure that you guys sign up for the newsletter so that I can reach out to you guys that way. You guys can stay in the loop when I want to put some new files or anything else like that out there. Also on Black Site 32, we now have a second free document page. All right, apparently we hit the limit on how many files I could put on that one page. So we've got page number 2, and we're going to have more files coming to you guys. Special shout out to all those people out there who've joined me in the Bad Wolf VIP group. I just launched another video over there. So thank you guys for supporting me that way. And the people with the random donations through Black Site 32 on the donation page. So with that being said, let's see what we got going on here in the comments section. And all right, we've got a new YouTube member. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. We got Kevin out there. What's going on, Kevin? Teresa, Darlene. All right, we got another member. So let's welcome all of our new members. It's fascinating to me how, and also Aaron. Aaron, I did get your message on here. I did send you a link. Sorry, I must not have seen it, or it might have, when you messaged me, it might have went to my spam, but either way, I've got you taken care of. So you should have a link now for the consultation. And all right, so shout out to David, Yahaya, Doug. I'm still ignorant to the national process. Well, it's really not a process. Really what it is that in being a national, you were born that way. You were born under GPO Styles Manual, Section 5.23. You are a state citizen and you were born a national. So it's not really a process that you have to do. You already have it. And you know this by terms like Floridian, New Yorker, Wisconsinite, Illinoisan, Californian. Those words are not terms of endearment because, oh, hey, we're in the area and we just, that's a nationality. That's what the government says. We already knew that, but we can now prove it by looking in the GPO Styles Manual from the government, Section 5.23. All right. So you already have that in you. You were born with it. What they did was they created a legal person based on your name, and you've been operating that. That is the U.S. citizen. That particular entity is what gives them jurisdiction on a state level over you in such a way that you are a member of their private members association that is so large that it's called the public. All right. So you have it. All we show here is how to do commerce properly. What's going on, Chief? Love to the little one. And how to operate commerce the proper way without being a belligerent or combatant, and how to make your things private if you don't want anybody to be able to take them. And we don't discriminate here, whether you are Police officer. I've done the process for it. My neighbor is actually a retired police officer. I've got friends and family who are police officers currently. They know exactly what I do. And at first, of course, they're like, "Are you one of those?" And I'm like, "No, no, no. Let me educate you on really what's going on." And, they were like, "Oh, okay." The other ones, I've even had some police officers, due to some things going on in my neighborhood, ask me for some information. And they looked at my signs and said, "Are you private?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh, okay." Didn't trip. All right. Bronze, my brother James, welcome back. Hey, it's good to be back. I'm going to try to do these more often. Like I said, I just needed to power down for a while because, I just had lots of stuff going on, personal stuff, processes. And it was just like, all right, I'm just going to take a little break because every once in a while I need to do that because, you get lost in this stuff, man. It learning new things and other people's, coming to me because they are doing other people's processes, and some people got in trouble and some people wanted clarification. So yeah, I've just been doing a lot of consults, a lot of consultations. Ivy, what's going on? What's going on? Pleasure to have you guys here. What's going on, Soul? I'm going to try to get as many of these in, and then we're going to bring in our guest speakers. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Fearless Floyd, and my good cousin A6. Both of them are like brothers to me. No Way says cool shirt. Thank you. That's a kind of a ongoing thing me and Fearless Floyd have is the sexy, flamboyant shirts. So we have to tease each other. So it's a good thing. It's all in good fun. What's going on? Sorama, blah, blah, blah. Good to see you. Good to have you guys here as well. I'll be seeing you soon at Consultation. Yeah. I took a week and a half, almost 2 week vacation. What's going on, Bird? Pleasure to have you here, Miss Lady. Appreciate you. Also, shout out to the Jump Out girls because I know they're usually watching. Yeah, after I took that vacation, people just started blowing me up. So by the time I got back, even though I was still booking, yeah, I'm like 3, almost 4 weeks out at this point in time. So if you guys do get a consultation, you're going to have to be a little bit patient. Trying to get through them as fast as I can. Well, not getting through them as fast, but we'll get through them when we get through them. So please plan ahead before making that. Don't expect, it's not like the old days where you could book me today and I can talk to you tomorrow. All right. It's gotten a little bit bigger. What's going on, Aaron? Can you put a lien on your birth certificate or social security card, and can you put them in your trust? Okay, so yeah, you can put them in your trust. You can mention them in there. You are already the beneficiary and the holder in due course of those items. A lien, I haven't heard anything thus far negative about putting a lien or UC lien against them. If I had to be honest, that's what my original lien I did. Haven't heard anything back negative or positive from doing that. So I'm like this. They haven't said that we can't, so why not? I mean, they gave them to us to use as we see fit. So if we want to put them in the trust or put a lien against them, why not? Real Justice, what's cracking, Mr. James? What's going on, Justice? Appreciate you. Love the name. And that's the name of the game. Lex, greetings, brother. Any thoughts on steps to design a family trust or crest? Well, you know what? I mean, now with Chat GPT and the what is it? What is it? Not Watson. I can't think of. They've got so many apps now where you can create one just by telling it, typing in the AI saying, create a family crest with, 2 lions and a raven using blue for the background. Do it that way. If you don't want that, go online and use your last name and see what your family already has out there. If you don't like that, hey, borrow somebody else's, but modify it a little bit so that you're making it yours. Because by law, I think you have to modify something between 25 to 32% for it to be a new thing. And then you can actually own it and use it. So, or else Just pay one of those services online. I forgot what they're called, but they'll custom design the work for you. Just type in looking like Google search artist to create family crest, and it'll bring you up to the website. Just pay somebody $25 and have them design something for you. And I think you can modify it to 3 times until they give you your final one. Can I get my 11-year-old daughter's birth certificate authenticated? If so, do I use the same process I did for mine? Yeah, definitely. You can get that done at any point in time. Remember, you only have to authenticate the birth certificate issued from the state, the hospital, or the your homemade one or whatever else. You don't have to do those. All right. And those are already authenticated either on the county level or because you created it and you're operating as an American in private. New to all this, what's the most effective method for revocation IRS? For that, using the W-8BEN is going to be one of your number one things. If they don't accept that, then use the W-4 and mark it tax exempt or exempt on the tax line, or create a private foreign trust. You can also use the W-4V. And in all actuality, you can actually write up your own revocation and submit it. But usually the employers are not going to like that, even though they're supposed to take it because they are the withholding agent. Yeah, so you can use any of those methods. All right, channel, it says I set a consultation whenever you have time. Okay, so if you got a link from me, then you just go ahead and book it for whatever open date is going to be. It's going to be like 3 weeks at this point in time. But if you have not gotten a link, then email me the confirmation number and I'll get that over to you. Offspring and irrevocable trust, remove them from the system when I put them in. You know what, Bird? I will tell you this. I have been passed information that you don't want to do an irrevocable trust for your child. You want to do a domestic trust so that you can take control over your child in their jurisdiction. So you want to put them in a domestic trust, okay? Not an irrevocable. Monica, what's going on? Monica is definitely one of my number one supporters on all the platforms, so I appreciate you. She also puts up a lot of good content and information. She is a trooper in this. Definitely a fire woman, let me tell you. When submitting the 6-piece documentation, does it need to go to the state you live in or only the social media? Baltimore. Not sure what all documents, but I would make copies and you keep a copy and send 2 other packets out to each of those places. Ain't gonna hurt. Never hurts to put them on notice. Martin, what's going on? Love and peace right back at you. Monica says she had to take a break too. Yeah, sometimes you just need to put it down and breathe a little bit. Correct the Social Security in person. Will they still have to mail your? You can walk in. Some places are easy peasy and some aren't. So you might have to mail it in. If they don't accept it there, then you might have to mail it to the headquarters and then report that location for not accepting your document and not giving you a legal written response as to why they're not going to accept it if they happen to move that way. Yeah, well, now that the COVID is gone, yeah, you should be able just to walk in. What's going on, Williams? Yeah, we just covered that one. John Harnick, what's going on, brother? I seen my friend passport and he has 4 stars. He filled out DS11 like a U.S. citizen. How do we know if we got our passports and nationalism? Okay, so we now know that it's really in doing the process that gets the passport encoded the proper way. Officially, nobody knows 100% what the stars are. We do know that they're considered national security. We do know that after we make our declarations that we tend to get a higher level of those stars, but don't trip on the stars, okay? Obviously, we know there's something there, but we don't know full information, so don't get hung up on them. One of the reasons why people will get 4 stars and they're just regular citizens and whatever else, we believe it's because they could be in the military, their family could be in the military, They could have gotten the clear pass, the quick card, I think it is, the pre-flight thing. You know, their mother and dad could be from different country, another country. The person who's processing it is looking in their background and seeing something that they want to give them that. Okay. But if they didn't fill it out the right way, then theirs is going to be encoded differently. All right. Because it says it right on the bottom of the DS-11. I declare under penalty of perjury that I'm either a U.S. citizen or a non-citizen national. So they're going to put you as a U.S. citizen, but whatever's in that person's background, they're like, hey, I'm going to give this person, this U.S. citizen, this 4-star on their passport. So don't get hung up on that. We've seen that since day one. So that's nothing new. Like I said, they're never going to share all the true tidbits. Okay, nice, Lawrence. Valerie Taylor, what's going on? Oh, Fearless Floyd says Fiverr. Yep, Fiverr can do that. All right, guys. I am not going to be able to get to everybody right now. We are going to bring on our guests. All right. So in alphabetical order, because A6 starts with A, he's going to go first. So let's welcome the illustrious debonair international man of mysteries, A6, my cousin, Mr. Grind Time. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's good, man? How's everybody out there in the YouTube land? We here live and direct, live in effect. You already know what it is. A6, the foreign national, born natural. And Wolf got me on live, so we're going to chop game.
And I want to thank you for coming over. I know this is usually your time on Sundays. You know, I usually try to go for Mondays. So thank you for, letting me slide into your, Sunday Night Live spot.
All good, man. I already put everybody on point
over here.
Yeah. I already put everybody on point. I sent the messages out and all that, so we should be locked in.
All right. Now for Mr. Sexy Shirt himself, Mr. Tex In, the man, the myth, the mother. Oh, watch your mouth, legend. The Fearless Floyd. Let's bring him on stage and give my peoples and family a welcome, because these people are the ones who are holding it down. What's going on, Floyd?
Well, thank you, everybody, for being here, and thank you for inviting me as always. And there's my boy up there, A6. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good, champ. How you feel? Let me tell everybody. Floyd is a lot taller than I thought he was. Like, Floyd got some height on him. I was like, God damn, what the hell? But no, cool peoples, man. I was out in Texas, man, and he was real chill, man. He accommodated me and everything, man. Real good people. Indeed.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, likewise. We need to. We're trying to get together, folks. We're trying to throw something together. Maybe if y'all give us a little input over here in the chat and tell us, hey, should we do a seminar for you guys?
We were talking about the seminar, man. I definitely would be interested in doing something like that.
Yeah, something live for you guys. And, if y'all have some other people in the, let's just say in the movement that you'd like to have there to do a live presentation or get some of their, private one-on-one materials, I'm going to turn off my background. And, we'd love to set that up for y'all. We just don't know what it looks like. Give me 1 second. We'll take off this background. So y'all let us know if y'all want to do that, because we can do it in. I have a location in Plano, Texas, for as long as it's available. Spoke to them the other day, and it's an art gallery, badass art gallery. But the economy is killing them, bro.
Yeah, the economy's in a real bad condition right now, man. Did you guys see the debate though?
Oh yeah,
man. I didn't even watch. I peeped in, and then I was like, and we're done.
I saw maybe like 10 minutes of it, and I basically saw everything I needed to see. Like that, I've even heard he was supposed to be stepping down. The Democrats are bleeding out right now, man.
Yeah, they've got him. Apparently, his family hold back up at Camp David, and they're trying to make a decision. I'm sure they're getting quite a few visits from the big heavy hitter donors that do all that black money for the political action committees.
I even heard I heard the money was starting to dry up too, man, because they just weren't confident in dude. I mean, he literally looked like AI up there. He was glitching out and everything. That was insane. But I mean, we all knew it was going to be bloody. You know what I'm saying? But this was like unprecedented. I thought they would have had him a little more prepared than that. But geez, only but so much he could do, I guess.
That they would have just put a clone in, or somebody, with a mask, like looking like him on there. That would have been better because.
Well, that's who showed up the next day at the rally in North Carolina. Was somebody in the mask? That guy had a different tan and everything.
Yeah, I believe it. I even heard about different people said they saw Biden and he was different heights when they saw him in different places. So
right.
Like he
just like Trump.
Yeah. Like one of them would be real tall. They even saw one of them with like a mask, like a tab near his ear, so you can remove the mask easier. There was a video I shared. Actually, I think I tried to share. Who was on my live last week? I think that video might have got deleted or something like that. Maybe it was, but there was a video where there was actually a warehouse that was full of like rubberized suits of like politicians, and you could see Mitch McConnell in the front row of one of those suits. And that reminds me, I don't want to get too deep into it because I know YouTube is strict on that kind of stuff, but that reminds me of the remember when the George Floyd thing happened, and they were saying that right down the street was like a some kind of manufacturer of those kind of suits or whatever, and it got closed down 2 weeks before it happened. And there was some talks, and I'm not going to go deep into this, but there was a very questionable incident involving the George Floyd thing that was on the screen, and I'm gonna leave it there because. Yeah, but there was something questionable related to what we're talking about with the suits and all that. So it just makes me wonder how much of this stuff is actually, tangible. And then the whole thing with Joe Biden speaking in the courtyard of the White House, and the microphones are disappearing or appearing in behind his hands somehow. Like he's standing in front of the microphones and his hand is like not in the correct position as it would physically be possible with the microphone. You know what I'm saying? So that was also another thing that was just questions that we have that never really got answered. So like how much of this stuff is actually AI,
Yeah, I've seen some questionable videos where somebody's walking and the floor is not at the right height. It's little things, or their foot seems to float into the floor a little. There's little things like that. So once again, remember they're putting on a show. That's all it is. A lot of that is all show. It's set up, by these little groups, out there, which are their strings are being pulled by people above them. So that's what it is. And it's to some people it's a good show, and other people it's BS because we know what it really is.
Yeah, 100%, man.
They're trapped though, because you have to register and be approved as a presidential candidate in certain states. And specifically, I know this because of Trump's RICO case in Georgia, that technically a judge, Superior Court judge, can kick Trump off the ballot. They can shut down the Republican National Committee. They have that authority in their statutory language. Whether they would do that or not, that's a totally different thing. But yeah, they have that language. So they can remove a candidate's registration as well, because that's what they were trying to do to Trump. Remember?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and some of these states, what was it? Ohio, I think, was one of them. Michigan, maybe, something like that. Yeah, they're trying to remove him. So, yeah, they're pretty much stuck with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They can change out Kamala, but she's not going to go down, quietly.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard in the back half, is that they're supposed to be trying to find a way to remove him and slide her in there so that she can fill the black card and woman, agenda in the presidency. That's what I heard. And I've been hearing that for a while now. So
They would have to, I think they would have to pull the 25th Amendment coup to get him out of there. Because Jill Biden is not going to give up the presidency. Would you? No, Joe's perfect.
Fine.
Crazy.
Throwing a clone.
Better than he's ever been.
Yeah, and it's only been so much of the milking, you know what I mean, of the entire magnitude of what's going on. It really comes off as like, all right, now you're doing too much. That clearly was not perfect. Clearly, like they couldn't even say, anything to try to spin it believably. It was like literally no ground to stand. I know I've seen Democrats that I follow on my Instagram, and they didn't post anything over the last week. Like there was radio silence. Like hard Democrats, they're like completely anti-Trump. Hard radio silence.
Let me see if I can pull up this clip for you guys. It's actually Joe Biden at the after party after he did his debate where he's speaking, but it gives you the text of everything that he's saying. And he's trying to tell the story about the John Wayne and the dog-faced pony thing. And it's just 100% gibberish. And you can see Joe Biden go, oh, Jesus Christ. He's not even close with this story. He started out John Wayne and ended at dog-faced pony. And everything in between made no sense.
Awful. Yeah, it was bloody, man. But,
it's
entertainment, like you said. You know what I mean? Wolf knows, everybody probably in the chat, I'm pretty sure, knows too. Have you guys been keeping up with Supreme Court rulings, however?
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think about that? And I'm anxious to know what you think about this specifically, Wolf, because I'm pretty sure I have an idea what Floyd has to say. But the Chevron deference decision was basically made by Supreme Court, overturning the historic case, stating that Chevron deference was basically, from what I gather, that agencies can interpret the law and make laws according to that. Policies, right? Like, not laws, but they can still, like, for instance, the ATF can create, you know what I'm saying, certain stipulations on arms or what have you, and still come after you and lock you up over certain things of that nature, from what I gather.
Right. Well, the issue is legislatures and Congress have a very high propensity, because they're mostly bar attorneys, to write very ambiguously when they draft these statutes and codes. So it's up to interpretation. Generally, it's got to go through the appellate process for all the courts to determine the machinations and nuances of whatever was drafted as a law, to clarify it, to give it more specificity. A lot of times when they go in and redo the penal codes, that's what they're doing, trying to clean up that verbiage that was omitted and was so ambiguous. But because of the ambiguity in the federal statutes, the way they're written by Congress and passed into law, is that it allows these, I'll just use the FDA as a good example. Whoever's elected, let's just say Biden. So Biden, now he goes and picks his FDA people that he wants to run it. Well, who's the best people from the FDA? Well, I need to go get somebody from Archer, Midland, Daniels. What Bill Gates wants to put somebody over here from the Bill Gates. Okay, yeah, hey, you can come over here too. It's that kind of thing. And before you know it, it's a cesspool of corporate insiders, mainly attorneys that go back and forth from the government over back into industry, especially with multinational corporations. So what it allowed is for the FDA and the USDA to look at the law and go, okay, that's ambiguous. We can pretty much create any kind of policy off that we want and enforce it as law under this statute and code. So that's kind of what happened again with the January 6th case, because they're kind of commingled if you really analyze them closely. the same thing with the verbiage in the statute. The DOJ came and alleged something that wasn't an element of the offense as it was applied to the J6ers had written in the indictment. So they didn't meet all the qualifications for elements of the offense. And with that, I'll digress.
What can I say?
That's it in a nutshell. Is them just finding to, enforce their agendas. How can we screw the people over more? How can we take away some more freedoms and things? And just let's just kind of throw it out there and clean it up a little bit, but get it out there, put it so that everything's in our favor.
Yeah, 100%.
Nothing new.
Somebody just mentioned in the chat, bump stocks are off the ATF ban list. I did hear about that, the bump stock thing. That was like a week and a half ago, I think. But I mean, here's the interesting part. Trump actually put that in place. And the pro-Trump guys, you know what I'm saying? They get on my case all the time because I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not pro-Biden. I think it's all horseshit. And I'll call it right down the middle. So Coleon Noir, he basically put out a post on his page, demonizing Biden and propping up Trump. And I said, Joe, but Trump passed the bump stock ban. We don't forget. We literally hashtag we never forgot. And people were like, well, you voted for Biden. Like, no, incorrect. I didn't vote for no goddamn Biden. So I'm like I said, I get why people are really pro-Trump. I get it. It makes more sense than Biden, in my opinion. But I just look at the whole thing as a whole, and I just say, yeah, this is all scripted. None of this is authentic. You know what I'm saying? We can look at this thing 100 ways of Sunday. I still have a thorough belief that nothing that you see on that television was not put there so you'll see it. If you were truly somebody who was a threat in order to wake up people, you're not going to get a chance to talk on TV. There was a baseball game where it might have been a football game, but this is about probably 10 years ago. And so this fan runs up to the stage in between the players getting up to the microphone. He goes, 9/11 was an inside job, investigate 9/11. He grabbed him up so fast and pulled him off of the podium. And this is what I'm talking about. This guy was not supposed to be on television talking at all, and they yanked his ass off the TV so fast. So again, I just believe that a lot of it is again, it's a show, and it's put there to entertain. The best way to look at it.
Yeah, Monica says imdb.com. Type in all their names. Have you ever done that and seen where it pulls up that it says they're actors?
Yeah, actors. Yeah. They say the same thing about some of these ball players too, man. Ones that have never even been on television. They're listed as actors on television other than football or basketball. They're listed as actors.
Yep. What was it? I've seen that come up a number of times, especially on IMDb, but I think there was somewhere else that I've seen where they were referred to as not actors, but basically like professional something. It was something like that I had seen before. Because once you go into that, you're basically signing up to be an entertainer. That's what they're doing. It's a public position in the public. What do you do in the public? You're entertaining. If you're doing this, if you're out there in the main stream and for everybody to see, and where do we usually see them on TV? They're acting, they're performing, they're putting on a show. That's all it is at the end of the day.
Have you seen the video of Vivek Ramaswamy side by side with Barack Obama? And Vivek is parroting Obama almost word for word.
No.
Oh, y'all have never seen that?
No.
Y'all
somebody play it. Wolf, can you please?
You want to do that real quick?
Yeah, please.
Do it.
I want to see that.
Remember, everything here is education and entertainment, satire. If anybody's names were mentioned, it is merely a coincidence that they happen to have the same name. With that being said, everybody here is waived of any illegitimate statements and actions and whatnots. And all normal rights and whatnots are reserved here. Okay, carry on.
All right, this is you know, I don't advocate for or advertise, but this is bitshoot.com, but I will advocate for the host of this show, which is Real Weekend Warrior. So go subscribe to him. He puts out some badass videos that are very informational. So here's Vivek Ramaswamy, and of course here's Obama.
Fair use.
American ideals.
Imagine they were driving a car and they drove it into the ditch.
If somebody has repeatedly crashed your car,
You can't have the keys back.
do you want to turn over the keys to the same people who crashed it?
Said Russia in the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
I have a newsflash. The USSR does not exist anymore.
You know, the Cold War's been over for 20 years.
It fell back in 1990.
A skinny guy with a funny name.
Who the heck is this skinny guy with a funny last name?
But they sense deep in their bones.
I believe deep in my bones.
E pluribus unum. Out of many, one. We are one people.
I have a dream that we can be one people.
Yep.
There you have it. There you have it. And what about the one with Donald Trump's wife copied? Whose speech did she copy literally word for word? Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I did hear that.
That was like 5 years ago, I think, or maybe longer.
I don't know.
Somebody's speech she copied. Was it Jackie O? I don't think it was
Somebody.
Jackie Onassis.
Somebody. I know what you're talking about. I could have sworn I thought it was Michelle Obama's, but
Yeah, Michelle Obama. That's who it was. Big Mike.
that's what it was.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
He said Mike Obama. I beat him by 0.3 seconds.
Oh man.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joan Rivers. Rest in peace.
Just like in the beginning for you, A6, that you have all these news medias are owned by the top, 6, 7 families, and it's all the same script from nation and east coast to coast, all across the nation. It's an entertainment thing. That's all they're doing is keeping the natives, if you will, from waking up. Just entertain them, commercialize it, copy, cut, paste, and deliver. That's it. They're just providing a product. Like Caesar said, if you give the people bread and you entertain them, they won't revolt.
1,000%, man.
No wonder she told him to eat cake.
100%, man. You ain't wrong about that.
Wow.
Yep. Gotta love it.
Get connected.
It's been a whole lot of craziness going on, man. I tell you, this year, just as in a nutshell, so far, the crazy part about it is this year is speeding by, man. We're 6 months into this year. I was watching this video on Instagram, and the dude was saying that, these days are going by fast. Like literally, think about this, man. We're literally 6 months into 2024. And it's only honestly felt probably like I want to say maybe 4 months for me.
Yeah.
The days are just going by so quick. You know what I'm saying? It's gotten to the point where sometimes I don't even realize what time it is. It might be like 1 or 2 in the morning. And I'm still not even tired. I'm like, it's 2 o'clock and I'm supposed to be asleep right now. I got to work tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So it's literally one of those things where the day is going by so fast. I don't even feel tired most of the time. When it's late, I gotta force myself to unwind and lay down and get some rest. And it is like Wolf said, like sometimes with this information, you definitely got to take a break. You're just drowned in a sea of words and definitions and code, statutes, constitution. It gets to be a little much from time to time. So you do have to take a break. But with that said, yeah, the time has definitely been sped up a whole lot. It feels like, and it's almost. To me, no, this is a thought I had, Wolf, and Floyd as well. You know how they said humans used to live, what is it, over, was it 500 years or something crazy like that? Longer than that, I believe. What if it's a situation where and I think I mentioned this before on my channel. The days going by, maybe the sun or something is doing something different, and the days literally are speeding by much faster. And it's not that we're aging slower; we're aging at the same speed. The days are just going by much more rapid, which makes in turn us age. In turn, it makes us look like we're aging slower. Perspective type thing. You know what I'm saying? I was outside today and I just noticed this. Did you notice the sun looks a lot more different than it used to? It seems like it has more of a whitish tint now. It used to be more yellow, it seems like, before the whole entire I'm not even gonna say the eclipse. I would say before 2020 happened, when the Jupiter thing happened and there was a perfect alignment December 21st. I would say ever since then I've noticed, and there was even reports of two suns. A lot of people were uploading videos and pictures of there being two different suns visibly seen in the daytime.
I know, I've seen some of those videos as well. I know that we have another moon, because we've got two moons now. If you guys didn't know.
I did not see that.
Yep, it's not the size. It's relatively small, but yeah, they're calling it. You can look it up. Do we have two moons? And but then again, with all the things going on, is it really a moon or is it a large cloaked UFO?
Yeah, how about that?
It's you have to question everything because you can't put anything past these people at this point in time. You really can't.
Well, they got away with the moon landing for 50 years.
There's a movie coming out about the moon landing. Did you guys see that?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a movie coming out about the moon landing, how they faked it. It's literally coming out this year. Yo, I was literally in the movie theater today. I was looking at A Quiet Place. And they have a movie about how they faked the moon landing. Like, yo, what?
See, because of how my brain works, like when I'm watching, like I said, I went to school for electrical engineering, right? So when I look at things, they have to make sense. And I'm literally looking at the footage. I've watched literally probably every scrap of moon footage I can get my hands on, including being in the shuttle and all this stuff and listening to the dynamics and the radiation belt and what it, and things educationally, entertainingly do not add up. Some of the things were so bad. Now, I'm not going to say that we haven't stepped foot on the moon, but all I'm saying is they have made, if you know what to look for, there's a lot of questionable things. And for instance, one of the things was, if you look at the footage of the lander, all right? So you look at the lander and look at the struts or the feet, the structure underneath it.
Yeah.
If this thing landed, why is there not one speck of dust on the feet on the lander? It's like it was set there perfectly. Now the moon is dusty as all hell. So how did none of the dust get on? Well, NASA stands for never a straight answer. So
right. Yeah. Nice.
And you see that's a White House logo.
Sure is.
Mm-hmm. Well, this was actually when they were doing the Artemis launch. And they wanted to just come in there and set up a little thing for them in their training facility where they train the astronauts for the Artemis shot. So I get to see everything, the space shuttle mock-up, the tank, everything, spacesuits, mock-up lunar module, everything. And you walk around that place, you're like, man, they really sold this to the American people. And when you drive around the NASA complex, it's just nothing but these gigantic 4-story warehouses. And there's not a whole lot of traffic going on there anymore. And there's not a lot. Now, and this is the Johnson Space Center I'm talking about in Webster, Texas, on NASA Road 1. Because my friend used to live right down the street from there. And she knows her sister's a bunch of friends with some former engineers from NASA. And boy, you want to talk about some people who are just like 100% totally buffaloed? I mean, they're sold lock, stock, barrel. They believe the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
They don't believe in UFOs. They believe we went to the moon. They believe.
Well, like sometimes you catch them lying too, because like I've listened to different, science professionals talking about the moon, this, moon, that, and what it takes to get there. And one of them was like, he slipped and said, well, we've never actually been to the moon because he said we would be radiated because the amount of radiation out there without an actual force field around it, he said the amount of radiation you get in your microwave is if you, if you were to have your, not saying to do this, but if the radiation were to come out, it would mess you up. And that's a microscopic amount that's out there. It's like you would be completely radiated. So then when you look at the actual capsules and things, you're like, wait a minute. The only things that can protect you from that amount of radiation would be thick sheets of lead. Maybe. And you can't make a shuttle out of pure solid lead. And those little films of gold that you can see
that they had on there.
stop the space radiation?
No. No.
Yeah, it literally, I swear to God, guys, it looks like somebody coated aluminum Reynolds wrap foil with gold and then stuck it. I mean, like literally tried to get it on there. It's that wrinkled looking. And
it looked horrible. And then the rover that they were using to ride around wouldn't even fit back in the thing. And then on top of that, why was there already somebody there recording the thing land? Like, wait.
Yeah.
So somebody was already there recording this thing land. So let me talk to the guy who recorded that. How did he get it?
Right.
Who filmed the first step on the moon? Who's that?
There you go.
Right.
That guy. Because he was obviously he was first.
If you pay attention to when they talk about the images, it actually says that this is a composite. So they're layering and making their own version of it. It's not a true picture from there. And if you notice, almost none of the times do they have any of the stars in the background, because if they had the stars, you can calculate how the sizes of everything is supposed to be. So they're telling you like, hey, look, this is not the actual picture of the Earth from the moon. These are just composites, so they've been telling us if you know what to look for, if you can look past the entertainment aspect of it, it ain't real.
Yo, but what's worse about that though, man, for me, the people who they just bought it so easily.
Well,
like they really saw this and said, yo, this is real. We're actually
I watched it.
Oh, you saw it? You said okay.
Yeah, that was 69, so I was 7 years old. I mean, that was freaking huge.
Yeah, everybody was watching it, man. But
the
TV quality was crappy back then, but how were they actually able to film that from that far away live? You know what I'm saying? They didn't have no Wi-Fi or anything like that. How was this happening? Radio waves weren't traveling that far. It just was so many questions that never made sense to me.
Yeah, most people back then didn't know. They were technologically, I mean, look at the cars back then.
Yeah, cars they were old school, man. All metal joints. You know what I'm saying? That's back when you could work a warehouse job or a factory job and have 10 children in one house, 2 cars. Your wife doesn't work. Have money for big Christmases, family vacations to Disneyland. Everybody goes. All kinds of stuff back in the day. Right. Hey, look, factory jobs used to be the business, though, man. That's before we sold all of our stuff to other countries.
Yeah, the outsourced production.
That dog over there tripping again. You gotta get a laser point for him.
Attention. She just wants attention.
That's a good-looking dog, man.
I know.
She's a beautiful dog.
Fantastic. Well, let me take you outside. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
other things.
Go ahead.
Other things about it too are like, okay, so like the space station, they keep talking about how they, maneuver it. Like, how come it ain't ever like in threat of coming down? Like, I know it's solar powered, all right, but I mean, do they have like solar powered thrusters on there? I mean, how are they like, oh yeah, we just moved it back up into a higher orbit? Like, how do you move a space station into a higher orbit? That doesn't seem funny to anybody.
I tell you what's even weird about that. They always talking about space junk from all the attempted flyouts and stuff like that, and space, space pieces
Debris.
of ships flying around this goddamn Earth or whatever they want to call it and shit, and just flying around. If there's supposed to be a space station just fixated up there chilling, why is it not getting hit by space junk? There was even a movie about space junk too that didn't make any sense. That came out. I had it on Blu-ray, and it was about these astronauts who tried to go out for the space station, and something had happened where they got hit by a piece of space junk, and the ship spun out of control, and they tried to get in touch with the Russian space station. It just was a whole lot of chaos at that point. And yeah, and they showed you in the movie how the space junk was everywhere. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. None of this makes sense because if there's so much space junk, how can the space station just be up there just chilling like it's all good? You know what I mean? Like you said, does it have thrusters on it, or what's the deal with it?
Well, and like, okay, so like, I'm not saying anything's impossible. I believe anything is possible, but like, if they're traveling at the speed that they say they are, and then like, unless you have an AI that can match the speed, how are you docking with another entire vessel moving that fast? Like, you have to get it up to speed. If this is the space station, you got to get it up to speed, and then you have to get up there, speed up to it to get up to it, right? And then you got to like slow it down, and then you have to be within a quarter of an inch to dock it. Come on, man. I'm not saying they did or didn't. I'm just saying these are questions. I have questions.
Right. Legitimate questions, right?
Because even if you say they can do that now, then how did they do it back then? You're telling me, and then, okay, so they leave the moon, let's just say. Okay, so they left the moon. And I don't know if you guys understand, but like, the moon is really farther than you think. Okay, so if it's really that far, if taking off fuel, okay, I can see, and then you're coasting there, you're not burning all the way there, right? Okay, I get that. But like the Earth, even though we're in relative, we're relative. So okay, so you're from here to here, you're going, but like the Earth is still moving away from you. Okay, in some instances, you could say the moon is it's far. How should I explain this? You need multiple thrusters on either side of this thing, all around the whole thing, to make sure that you're not just spinning. Okay, you have to be able to stop the spin. You have to be able to push it, go forward. I don't know about you, but I don't see a whole lot of thrusters around the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like if you're in a complete vacuum and you're in outer space, like if you tap the thing, it's gonna go in that direction. So you got space junk you're trying to avoid. You got to make sure that you're lined up perfect, or you're gonna overshoot. You're gonna miss. You know, the only thing I can think of is like if they really did go, and I think we did step foot on the moon, we'd have to have had help, which is what Werner von Braun was saying before he passed away in one of his last interviews before he left reality, is that, we had help from them. That's what he said. You can watch the interview. So I think we might have got there, but it definitely wasn't with our technology. And plus, here, this part too that gets me. How did they lose the technology to get to the moon? That's what
that was a wild one right there that blew me away. When he said the technology is no longer available, we lost that technology. Wait, what? You did what? Wait a minute, what?
How do you had one job? You had one job. What one? To get to create a shuttle and get it from there to there. And you lost the shuttle's right there, bro. You didn't lose the technology.
No.
They lost the files. They got deleted.
Those files are what turn on the shuttle?
Hey, if you saw how big the Johnson Space Center was, you'd be like, oh my God, they need all of this property to go up to space? Really?
But who saw Odyssey 2001? I haven't seen that movie in years.
Yeah, when you see the stuff up close, because nobody can go in that training facility. You got to get clearance and the whole freaking 9 yards. And when you see this shit up close and personal, you're like, this is a fucking joke, man. They sold this to the American people. I mean, and they're still doing it.
Well, they said Stanley Kubrick helped, right?
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Yeah. Okay. Another problem I have too is, okay, so you've got a space suit on, right? And space is pretty big and it's a vacuum. And you walk out of, you have to have a airlock. Okay. If we're going to play this logistically here. So you're in your compartment, you put your suit on, you'd have to then go into the airlock, close the airlock, open the airlock, which should then waft all the air out of there. And if you're in a suit, even if it's pressurized, you're telling me that suit has enough pressure to withstand outer space? That's some hell of a fabric, because that fabric should at least then expand and pull on you and really pop you like a piece of popcorn. But it's pressurized.
Right.
But that little bit of pressure in there is more powerful than the vacuum of outer space.
But shoot, man, you asked me, the real outer space is down in the sea. That's the outer space we need to really be talking about, because there's so much of the sea that's unexplored.
This right here, the shuttle astronauts. Have y'all seen this comparison where these people are still?
Oh, yes. I've watched that one too.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
That one was interesting.
That was a serious video, man. It blew me away.
Yeah.
None of them passed. None of them.
Yeah. They're all still alive.
There's some questions there.
And that puts into question every mass school.
Yeah. See, hey, they stopped him right before he said it.
Every false flag that
they froze you right before you said it, bro.
Don't say the F word. Don't say the F word.
Right before you said mask. Yeah.
Y'all know.
I know what you mean. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about different things that happen with things that go boom in certain areas. We can talk about that. You know what I mean? Overseas
factors. We've seen it. We've seen the same. That one same lady's been at multiple places.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, like I'm just saying, there's something sketchy. Something sketchy.
Another IMDb profile at large.
Yep. I even go as far as to say that website, thispersondoesnotexist.com, where you can just randomly generate somebody like that doesn't even exist, but it looks like a real person.
Oh wow!
Did you see that clip that Will Smith made talking about everything is AI? He said, Will Smith made a clip where he was like, "Hey, what's up, everybody? You know, he's like, it's me, Will Smith. He's like, I'm on vacation right now." And then all of a sudden he's like, "Actually, let me tell y'all, none of this is real." And then all of a sudden he's like, "This is green screen." And then he was like, "Actually, I'm still messing with you. This ain't even a green screen. This is all AI." And then he's like, "Hey, y'all, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I ain't looked this good in years." And then he actually shows that, you know, how it looks in real life without like his hair done, whatever else. So they're telling us in bits and pieces, hey, you guys are all. What do they call it? One of my people told me it's called like live acting. Okay. Whereas right now we're all in this show. Everything that's going on, the whole monkey SARS and coin shortage and they're live acting. It's no longer you're going to a place to see the show. The show is all around you and you're in it. You know that, so they call it live acting.
Right.
That's what they're doing. Everything is
because I'm in the entertainment industry. Some of these high-end shows that I do, conventions for like Coca-Cola, Walmart, Offshore Technology Conference. So when we do the large ballroom breakout rooms, some of the technology that I see, I'm like, holy crap, what the hell is that? And I'll go talk to the technician and he'll start breaking it down to me. And I'm like, wow, man, how new is this? He goes, oh, month or something like that. I'm like, really? So what can realistically happen, and this was probably a year and a half ago when I learned this, you could actually be watching Joe Biden, Ronald Reagan, and Bruce Lee in this image. And it would be in their voice, their mannerisms, their characteristics, everything. And it would be us either playing the part, just like you see us now, or it could be something that we could create artificially. That's how good the technology is. And they can make it in any setting, anybody. It's scary what they're capable of now. And because he told me that, and I'm thinking in the back of my mind, wow, man, when AI gets a hold of this technology and it decides it wants to use it, we're all in trouble, because we're not going to know, you can't believe anything except what you see face to face and touch and feel, smell. Yeah, it's that bad out there.
Sure is, man.
I know that if you pay attention to some of the footage when they're filming them working on the shuttle or whatever else out in outer space, sometimes you'll see water bubbles.
Yeah, I've seen that.
One guy pointed out that in one of the videos, you can actually see a fly. And
I saw a mouse once. I saw a mouse.
Yeah,
there was a mouse on one of the wings.
My favorite is when they're supposedly inside the station, and you can totally tell that like their hair has been hairsprayed. It's just they're spray painted. There's gel in their hair, so that looks like it's just standing up there. Real hair, if you're in a real vacuum, okay, it should be flowing. Every little movement you make should look like it's almost underwater. Mm-hmm. Unless you put some kind of pomade or something in it. So the fact that they have their hair all the way up like this, looking like they're all scared, okay, that's acting. That's not real. It's not. It's not. I don't know what they got floating around up there, but if they're trying to say that they're in that thing, like, think about it too. Okay, let's look at this. If they're really in this space station, do you know how many regular flights they would have to have for fuel, food, waste products, all that stuff? And you know how expensive that would be for them to send one up to try to catch up to, how difficult it would be for them to try to catch up to the other one? Because if one's already zooming by, you have to, like I said before, you're not going to go the same speed. You have to go faster. And what are you going to do? So you're going to sit here and wait for it to come by and then speed up? And no, you have to catch up to it.
Twice as fast.
Exactly. So, hey, as my friend would say, the math ain't mathing right.
It's YouTube math.
So what's up with that branch of military, the Space Force, man? What is the purpose of that?
The purpose of that is because, and you know what? I'll give credit to Trump. I'm not for anybody on my own thing, but I will say this. A lot of people underestimate Trump, okay? And they think sometimes when he says certain things, he's been letting us know what's going on. When he said in the interview, he's like, "Oh, we have invisible jets." He's like, "Oh, we have a space force. We already have these things." And everybody kind of looked at him and rolled their eyes. It's because he was giving away secrets. You're not supposed to know we've got cloaking technology where you can't see the ship, and that we already have a space force and a space fleet out there. That one hacker who hacked into their database revealed all the names, and he's seen on there where it says interplanetary crew exchanges. What?
Yeah.
We've had it. See, what they have to do is they have to acclimate us. They've been on other planets. They're doing all that stuff. But what they have to do is they have to ease us, the public, up to where they're really at.
Yeah. They
can't just go, "Oh, so by the way, we've got a whole space fleet. We've got ships." Like, yeah. Oh, well, we've like one of the people at NASA. I don't know if they broke protocol or they just forgot themselves, but in an interview, this I don't remember if it was a dude or a chick, but they were quoted as saying, "Oh, we thought you guys knew about aliens. We've been talking about that for years." And the person was like, "What?" And they're like, "Oh, and they kind of changed up what they said in the interview, and I haven't seen that interview anywhere else." All right, since it aired at that point in time.
Pulled
So
that joint.
they're catching us up to where they're really at. They've been off planet, and they got stuff. All I can tell you is I hear a lot of things from people is all I'm going to say. And yeah, as somebody who's went to school for electronics, we've studied that. I used to ask my teachers, where did we get this technology? How was this created? And some of them were in the military. So some of them had some really interesting stories to tell in the private. That's all I can tell you. Really interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think just Trump brought it out in the open, and he wanted to bring it out even further. I think he got suppressed. But anytime you see the triangle UFOs, that's old Air Force technology.
Yeah, that's a TR3B. That's the old stuff.
Yeah, which those are pretty common. People see those all the time. So they tell you, that's our stuff. That's what they're talking about.
Well, and one of the things too that gets me, because I pay attention to all this kind of stuff. Like I said, the stuff with like national, state citizen, that's just one of my passions. You can see from the books. I study pretty much everything under the sun. So one of the things that gets me is that when NASA allows the story to come out on the news, okay? It's not like the news media has like this large telescope and they're just looking around looking at stuff. They get it from NASA. And then NASA's like, oh, we see a large meteor coming towards the Earth. And you're like, okay, hopefully that piece misses us. And then like a week later, they're like, oh, it turned.
Right. It's always something.
I thought you guys said that things in space either go straight or they curve due to being pulled on a planet. You just said this thing was coming right for us and it turned. A turn is make it make sense. Something's not. What was it? Was it tired? Did it get sleepy? How did it just
gravity?
It fell. Yes, it fell hard right.
It just looked like it turned.
You know what I mean? They could say, yeah,
we were sideways.
They could say it veered, or due to the gravitational pull of the Earth, it slingshot past us, narrowly missing us. Something like that. What do you mean it turned?
That reminds me of when they say there's a hurricane or some kind of mean twister headed straight for Washington D.C. and then it does like a 90-degree curve away from Washington D.C. in a matter of 5 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, a potentially catastrophic hurricane headed straight for Washington D.C. that could possibly wipe out the White House. Literally does like a 90-degree turn and moves completely away from the White House. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it happen twice. So
I'm just saying the math ain't mathing right. That's it. That is all I'm saying. I'm not saying I got all the answers by any means. I'm just saying something don't seem right.
They've already told us we're going to have a bad hurricane season, so they are going to crank it up. What do you think about these Gwyn towers being like HARP related or HARP similar?
Gwyn towers.
These Gwyn towers, they call them cell phone towers, but they're Gwyn towers. GWEN.
Absolutely, yeah. I go as far as to say the ones that they installed. Do you guys remember when? Well, you guys have to remember because they're still up. When they updated all the lights to LED and the lights started changing purple and blue, and there was a phenomenon all around the world that these blue lights were all over the place. Listen, when the whole 2020 thing happened, they shut everything down. I still believe that they did something to conduct that 5G, use it as like a node point or something like that. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure why it changed color, but it was a conductor, like a superconductor. And whatever they use, like with HARP, in order to use those radio towers or these cell phone towers to control the weather or do whatever they need to do with the weather, I think that that's a main factor. To more easily be able to manipulate the weather. And even I would say go as far as to say people's thoughts. Whenever you see the clouds in the sky functioning like a ripple, that's completely unnatural. And I had to explain to people like, no, you've never seen clouds do this. Even when we were in school, which is bullshit anyway. And we learned about cirrus clouds, nimbus, cumulostratus, and all that other crap. You know what I'm saying? We learned about the clouds and all that stuff. None of this stuff was in there. Like you didn't see any radio wave looking clouds in that class. And we all took
Yeah,
the
they've
class.
been modifying the weather for years, whether it's seeding or with frequency or with, antenna arrays that they have around the world in different locations. I mean, a lot of that is based on Tesla's technology as well, Now, I have another piece for you, though. Check this out. I think you can still find the footage on YouTube, but I will say that they have minimized it to you being able to find it. So all the people who are alleging that they had like underground bases and things in the Arctic and whatever, they were like, that's not a thing. That's not really real. But here's where they messed up. See, I love catching their mistakes. So all the people who were in the military, right? Not all of them, but most of them, all were wearing Fitbits, keeping track of their heart rate and how fast they're running. So these people forgot that Fitbit uploads information about where you are so that other people can say, oh, that's a good trail. So Fitbit did a dump. Wow. And showed the paths of all the underground bases in the Arctic where the people were walking around underneath these tunnels and bases educationally.
Allegedly.
And then the military was like, oh no, we got to pull that down. But if you look up Fitbit dump Antarctica, it's Antarctica or Antarctica, whichever one it was. And you'll see if you can still find the images where it'll show that, they got stuff going on underground, under the snow and ice, we'll just say. Which we already knew that anyway, because Hitler was using those back in his day for their bases. Plus, the military already talked about they were building bases on the snow. They just never told us what they were doing deep underneath and where, with our tax dollars.
Right. And it's the only continent that you have to have permission from the Department of State to visit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Why is that? It's just snow, right? It's just snow and ice.
Nothing over there.
Big black eye.
Yeah.
Penguins.
Yeah. Maybe a Yeti or two or something,
Morgan Freeman doing a narrative for penguins. You remember that movie when Morgan Freeman did the narrative?
I'm just saying, like, and then if you watch, Admiral Byrd's interview, before they really were desensitizing, sanitizing said information, he talks about what was really there. He was like, there's plenty of resources there. There's lots of land, and there's this and there's that. Said it all in the interview. You can look up Admiral Byrd interview. And if you read his alleged memoirs of his time there, he goes into some interesting things. Now, we can't prove that it's really his book, obviously, so don't take anything here for anything more than what it is. But look up Admiral Byrd's interview and look up Admiral Byrd's diary on his journey, and in it he talks about that there were beings that he encountered there. And those beings were like, we don't like what you guys are doing to the earth. And so you guys need to chill out. And he was like, they had all kind of anti-gravity technology and a whole lot of other interesting things.
Moscovium.
what was the the guy who was in Area 51?
Bob Lazar.
Yeah. And that element, what was it, 115 or whatever? He was saying years ago that wasn't he was saying it's a real thing. And everyone's like, no, there's no such thing yet. Now we have it.
Now we have it. Yeah.
Now we have additional.
Yes.
Now we have it publicly. on a periodic table.
He was also doing an update interview with a guy by the name of Jeremy something, and he mentioned he might still have a piece of that tech, from, and his office got raided.
ASAP. As soon as he finished that sentence, the door probably kicked in.
Because apparently that fuel, that element that they use is so, and maybe, I don't know if it still is. I mean, I don't know. This is just hypothetical thoughts. But apparently it said that it's so rare that basically they need that element. And they were like, if you have some, we don't, man, get the camera. we're rolling through, because of how powerful it is. That it's alleged that if you take an electron gun and you hit it with an electron beam, just that tiny spark, that little boom, gives off so much energy, it powers their crafts. So they're not playing around with that stuff. You know what I mean? So when he said they got raided immediately, so I'm just saying, is if it's fake, then and why are you raiding them looking for stuff that doesn't exist?
Well, that's the same element that the Nazis created for the Nazi bell, correct?
Yeah, the bell, that was supposedly the engine for a craft.
Right.
And it ran on that stuff too. And what was it? They now if you read the Mahabharata, which is the ancient Indian text, okay, that so for some reason, modern academia here wants to call everything, fables and stories and whatever else, but over there they're like, no, this is real. We wrote it down. Why are you calling our heritage and our lineage fairy tales? Not fairy tales. And when you read it, it talks about ships that were so big they were like cities, and they talk about using liquid mercury as the driving force, because liquid mercury, when you spin it around and you have a magnetic field to propel it, causes it to have a gravity reduction feature. It reduces gravity. It's kind of like when we were kids, you took the bike wheel off and you spun it really fast, and then you had a hard time moving it. It was creating its own gravity. Yeah. So they learned a long time ago, even back in the ancient Atlantean times and Lemurian times, and all that you can spin mercury around and cause that gravitational effect. You can manipulate that. So you're messing with space-time then.
No, here's the question.
All in their books. It says it right all in their books. And here's a piece for those people. If you want to know what's out there, I would suggest in your downtime to go on the United States Patent and Trademark Office's website. Randomly start looking up things with the word gravity, amplifier, levitation, reduction, and other things of your curiosity, and see what you find. I found lots of interesting things on there. Just see, here's the thing, okay? These companies with this technology, whether you want to call it from Earth or off-world or whatever else, doesn't really matter. They still patent it. They may not tell you what they have, but if they want the rights to it, they have to patent it. And all I'm going to say is everything that is commercial that they want to protect is patented, whether you know it exists or not. You'll be surprised what you find on there.
I got a question for you. Were they using regular mercury or were they using red mercury? Do you know?
There are two different types. And from what I know, they call it quicksilver. So the original stuff was probably the original silver-based, which does the same thing. But I have heard of the red. I've been studying it, but I haven't gotten deep into that as of yet. But it keeps popping up on my feeds, if you will, when I'm doing my research. So
apparently,
they haven't modified it, and they're using that now, because that's what I heard, is that they're using that too.
The red mercury. So apparently, this is the crazy thing I've learned about red mercury. I've known about it for a little while, but like you said, I haven't really gone deep into it. Red mercury actually doesn't have a mirror reflection. If you put red mercury into a bowl and hold it in front of a mirror, it doesn't have a reflection. Here's the other crazy part. It's actually repellent by garlic. So if you put garlic near it, you can run it around the whole bowl. It avoids garlic for some odd reason. The only thing I can really think of that would compare to something like that is they were telling us for a long time vampires don't have reflections in the mirror, and their garlic is supposed to be one of those things that drives vampires away. And what do vampires want to drink? They want to drink like the red fluid. So question marks there. I don't have any basis for it. You know what I'm saying? Just pieces of question marks. I'm wondering where everything connects.
remember, the covenant is that they have to put these things in front of us. All right. They have to get us to visually accept the visual contract, or the everything that they do, they have to put out there to some degree. Now, whether it's in the form of a movie, a TV show, or whatever else, they're letting us know what's going on, and then they're also acclimating us to what's coming next. So, yeah, what the connection is exactly, don't know, but I'm sure at some point in time we will find out.
I don't know. That was a good dot connection right there. I'm talking about reaching across the aisle. Room.
I'm just saying, bro, like we got to ask questions, man, because if they tell us everything that's supposed to be happening up front, or if they tell us what it is up front, then absolutely questions need to be asked.
And look at the comment that was just posted here. All these places making underground luxury homes is the new big rage. What was it? I think the Facebook guy, Mark Zuckerberg, I guess, just built a huge underground compound
in Hawaii.
Yeah. That's another thing too. What's going on with Hawaii? My thought is, I think that the elite are trying to own the whole island. I think they want all the voting, all that they can get over there for whatever their full agenda is. I think they literally want to, control that whole island, or all the islands, all of it. They want, you know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, it would be kind of smart if we're all wealthy and we can get rid of the indigenous people, and then kind of, or at least most of them, you effectively kind of control a whole state. That's going to be worth something.
Do you understand the demographics of Hawaii?
Maybe not fully, but enlighten me.
You should read the book Hawaii by James C. Michener. I had the luxury of reading that, as well as they made a movie about it. The book's much, much, much better, but it basically, historically and fiction, describes how the United States took over Hawaii from the kingdom. And after World War II, when we invaded Japan, Japan has made it a point to try to take over Hawaii and inhabit it as much as possible. So you have the old, what they're called, the old Japanese that have lived there since the 50s and 60s. And then you have the natives who've kind of been squashed between everybody, kind of like the American Indians here. And then you have these new wealthy elite coming in there that are buying up the island. Willie Nelson was one of the first to buy on the island of Kauai, and he kind of has pulled a lot of people over there, especially Matthew McConaughey, Woody Harrelson, the other two brothers, the Wilson brothers from Texas, to buy property. And of course, we know Oprah Winfrey, Dwayne Johnson, they all own, Zuckerberg, Gates. So, yeah, I think what they want to do now is exactly what you're saying, come in and they want to buy it all up and get rid of the Japanese. They want it all. That's what's his name? The guy, Oracle. I think he bought an entire island. Bill Ellison.
Because, like I said, my mind is always playing chess, and knowing how these people move, like if I was one of them, I would definitely want to take over Hawaii with all of my wealthy friends, have a small section of people who are going to be my workers to come and do the things, maintain the gas stations and the shops, a little bit, but push most of them out. So now you have a larger controlling power. And for me, it would be the political way. Think about, like, if you can really buy up all that land and you have all elite living there. I mean, it's basically like you just took over Fantasy Island. You know, you the political power, you know, voting and all that stuff. Like I haven't really sat down to ponder all of it, but that's my first thoughts. Like, you know, you're also away from, you know, the public, if you will. It's going to be a whole lot harder. You can probably control the police forces out there.
Yeah.
You know, you can ship in certain things. You can have things flown directly in with no interconnecting flights for certain things you might have a fancy for. P. Diddy.
Goods and services.
Submarines, all that stuff. You know,
Yeah,
that stuff
I mean, you know, you could, yeah, you bypass a lot of the places where you might get arrested for doing things. You know.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, your little Disney World in the Pacific,
if you will. Mm-hmm.
Disney had their own police force.
Right. I mean, it would still be the public, but it would be controlled businessly, professionally, financially. Oh, you're not going to do what we say, or you're not going to let this slide? Okay, let's see if you get elected into that position again.
as well as residentially, because they can do the gated communities, you know, where the public doesn't really have access.
It's real life monopoly, basically, man.
Exactly. Yep. Or there was a movie years ago. It was something like, I think it was called like 7.5 Ninjas or something like that, and they called it Conopoly.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it was a real like C movie, but that was probably the funniest thing out of that is he's like, you're trying to play Monopoly with the whole world, so it's Conopoly. I was like, oh God, so horrible. But anyway, it was that part was funny. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. And then somebody mentioned I know you guys seen the fires and the certain things that didn't catch on fire that were of certain colors. Certain things were painted certain colors that seemed to, you know, I didn't know color could, you know, make fire bend. Must be the same force.
What was the backstory with that, though? I never got the backstory with the blue. Is that
it's from NASA? It's a NASA product. That's how it can like bend.
Oh. All right. Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's like Tang, bro. It's NASA technology.
Don't say Tang. I have had Tang.
Yeah.
Oh man, it never like, what is the significance with the blue, man? I never really got the gist of that.
Well, okay, so allegedly, this is all education, but the people are saying that basically what happened over there was a multifaceted grab for non-adults and land, and that a laser started those fires. And for some odd reason, lots of places that were painted a specific color blue, including wealthy people's lands nearby and houses, were not affected when the fire came through. It bent around those things and burned all the poor people stuff. And the non-adults a lot of them went missing on certain buses and things of that nature. That's what's being talked about. Education and entertainment purposes only. So that's the gist of that experience. Allegedly.
That is wild.
Yes. And then, of course, you had Oprah and The Rock begging people for money.
That was weird too.
Well, and one of the things I learned years ago, one of my earlier business ventures was we were going to collect money and donate it. So in learning how to set up a, nonprofit, we learned some interesting things. Most of those nonprofits, even though they tell you that, we give a majority or a large, whatever, they only have to give, most of them are up to 10% of what they collect.
That's it. 10%. That's why I don't feel bad when I'm going to the store and I shop. And they say, would you like to donate? And no, I'm not donating nothing nowhere. Because if I donate $10, you keep $9 and give them $1,
Most of those and it sucks because I do like to help people. That's one of the reasons why I looked into it. They don't have to give all that money. Not all of your money is going there. It's going right in the pockets of these CEOs and whatever. It's another hustle. A lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it is a hustle. And they're literally just going, oh yeah, donate. So how are you well, she's a billionaire, he's a multi-millionaire. You have more money than most people in many states combined. And you're asking for more money to help people in your area that you live. Are you insane? Or are you just trying to see how stupid people can really be? Because like literally, why would I hand over my money to a billionaire to then give to those people knowing full well that she could write one check and fix the whole scenario?
The optics don't even look right with that whole situation. That's the first thing that happened.
The burned land now is being bought up by these same people. I'm just saying something, the math ain't mathing right here. So you want us to send money to help the people who don't have homes and things of that nature. You're going to give them our money, but not your own money. But then you're buying the land that these people who lost their homes. So, I don't know, something doesn't seem right in there. Just not sure. But once again, this is part of the show. That's the entertainment of it. You know, you're supposed to. It's like magicians. You're supposed to pay attention to the hand that they want you to look at, while the other one is doing something different. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Look at the show. That's what all this is about. All of it, even down to what we're doing. We're the ones showing people, hey, look, we're moving the curtain and going, look, this is what it really is. This is yours. None of us are doing anything. We're not inventing something new or the wheel. We're just showing people their rights and freedoms. If you want to use them, you don't want to use them, that's on you. I'm not here to force anybody to do nothing.
Are y'all seeing an uptick in illegal crime in your area?
Illegal immigrant.
I'm from Baltimore, bro. This is just bad in general.
And I was going to say, yeah, in the Midwest, it's, yeah, you know. But I know what you're talking about. I did watch your show on that. And I actually was already studying what you were talking about, Floyd, when I was watching. And I was like, and you hit all the points that I was like, yep. I was like, it's my man right there. You got it. Yep. It's exactly what it is. That's another show, you know. And though I can't mention this particular person's name, we'll just say that this particular woman that we know told me an interesting story where a neighboring county who wanted to deal with her county drove busloads of homeless people over there and dumped them off.
What?
That dirty pool. That's welcome to the big leagues. You want to play? This is how we play. Damn. You know, and so like this is somebody I was giving private counseling to, you know, in certain matters. So I won't go into all the details, but you know, when I was informed of what it was, I was like, yeah, they're welcome to the table. You're no longer sitting at the juice box table. You're sitting at the big boy table. So yeah, they'll like Floyd was, you know, and I'll step back. They'll open up their prisons and let people come and do whatever because it's your problem now. And it happened on your watch, so it makes you look bad. These people will do whatever it takes to get what they want to get accomplished in the show. You know, so yeah, and all the places right over are going to be the ones hit because these people aren't going to, you know, it's like, I'm not going to travel all the way to Maryland. You know, they're like, we're going to do it in our area. You know, your problem is at your door. In this case, it's the border. It's going to spill over right there. And then as time goes on, it's going to, you know, you'll see they'll eventually deal with the problem, but also the problem is what generates commerce, energy in the system, no matter how you look at it. So it's bad for us as people, as nationals and state citizens and U.S. citizens alike, but they're going to ride it. It's money being generated. It's a news story. Are you not entertained?
Yeah. Everybody except the victims and the victims' families.
Exactly. And then and what do they call that? Triage, collateral damage.
Yep. For the narrative.
And that's the crap part.
Yeah. But, and most people, kind of don't really know what we're talking about because they haven't watched my video. But when you hear Trump on the campaign trail and all the other pundits speak to you guys and tell you that Venezuela emptied its prisons, jails, and mental institutions and sent them to the United States, that's a 100% true fact because I verified it with my prosthodontist, who's a Venezuelan, still has family in Venezuela. Absolutely. So what you're getting is the worst of the fucking worst, because what you don't know, and I just learned this from a Fox News segment, that the government of Venezuela turned the prisons over to the prisoners to let the prisoners run it because they couldn't handle it. And I've been in a prison system when that occurred, and most of you have never heard of the Ruiz versus Estelle decision, but that put the Texas prison system under a special master for, 3 decades to clean it up, to get it back to where it is today. But back then we had build-in tenders and turnkeys. And build-in tenders were the offenders who ran the cell blocks and dormitories, and turnkeys were the ones who turned the keys to the cell block doors, dormitory doors, and cell block crash gates all the way down the hall. So if you need to get to the infirmary, you got to talk to a turnkey. 9 times out of 10, if you're walking down the middle of the hallway with a full bag of commissary, guess what? You're going to have to break some off by the time you get back to the house, because you're going to have to break off the turnkey. So what they did in Venezuela is they surrendered all that to the inmates. So who do you think's running the prison? The most vicious, the strongest, and the one that can, speak the best to recruit as many gang members as they can. So what is coming out of the Venezuelan prison system is a prison gang with a name. And they've come into the United States, and they are here, and they are establishing themselves. And their claim to fame and the way that they get their stripes and their patches is to kill a cop.
Sheesh.
Which we're not condoning anything of that nature. We're not in support of any of that. We're just neutral, talking about education. That's all.
But this is the depth and depravity where they're already at, because where are you going to send them when you convict them? Oh, you're sending them home, back to prison. They're going to go hang out with all their homies and the gang members, because the prisons are going to be full of them, infiltrated. So they're just going back home, waiting to get back out and do it again. And I know what these people are capable of because I've lived with them. And I know the depths and depravity that they'll go when they have nothing left to lose. Because most of you don't know, I've got ink on my back from a guy who played his radio too loud. And the right guy at the right time wanted to get off the unit, executed him for playing his radio too loud, and used it as an excuse to get bumped off the unit. Swear to God. Okay. So I know how valueless life can be when you're talking about these people, and it's going to get worse. So when you start seeing headlines of 12-year-old girls getting gang raped and murdered, you're going to see a whole lot more of that. And it's going to get more and more horrific. And then you're also going to start seeing the terrorists come out of the woodwork, because they're going to be organized. And then you're going to see armed infiltration from other countries. They're going to be setting up cells and creating disturbances. So you're going to be seeing a whole lot of stuff going on from a whole lot of different areas, facets that you've never seen before, never experienced. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a lot of false flag events happening because of the election, because the Democrats are freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because now the entire world knows that Joe Biden is 100% incompetent to be president of the dog kennel club, much less the United States. So they are going to scramble. They're trying to figure out the most effective way that they can still salvage a win in November. That's what they're looking for. whatever that looks like. They're polling like crazy. They're trying to figure out, who's our guy, who's our combo. Do we need Kamala in there now? Would that benefit us? So that's what they're doing. They're doing all these polls as quickly as they can across the country, as many people as they can, and running these different scenarios past them to try to figure out, okay, this is the best polling. Let's go poll it all across the rest of the country and see if it matches what we got over here in North Carolina. And if it does, okay, that's what we're going with. We're going with candidate B and candidate C. Kamala and Joe, y'all are gone. And we're just going to start over. Any possible scenario is available, and anything on the table, use your imagination, is potentially possible. And that's anything. From weather warfare, from them running some hurricanes through the South, creating disaster areas. Look what they did to Houston with Hurricane Harvey. We were down for, my then wife couldn't even get back in her condo for almost 4 months. And when they did get her back there, they had to take her there by boat. Can you imagine getting kicked out of your house for almost 4 months, and the only way you can get back to it is by boat? That's how Houston was, Hurricane Harvey.
That's how bad it
months.
was.
Yeah.
We still seeing the effects of cars being sold from Hurricane Harvey.
Right.
Cars that was totally totaled. They still being floating around and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Being sold.
Yep. This is a deliberate invasion of the United States of America. The whole administration is treasonous, traitors. They sold us out. I would say everybody in Congress except Marjorie Taylor Greene is on the take doing the money laundering. If they're not like right in it, they're on the fringes of it enough to where they can't question their own vote. And as far as I'm concerned, she's the only one ready to get down on the floor of Congress and have a fist fight with somebody. Everybody else.
It really is, to me, we've really never not been in controversy. Everything is always up for grabs and on the table for them to use. It's a business where they need and they welcome the problem because that's job security. They don't want a scenario where everything is, peachy keen, because then we're going to start to wake up and say, hey, why are we still paying you this much money and doing these things when everything is grand?
Exactly.
Everything's great. We don't have that problem anymore. They want problems. They're okay with problems. Hell, they're like, hey, this way, through the back door. Go ahead and do your thing. No, you're not going to do it? Well, okay, let's create something to do that, and then we'll look like the good guys. It has to keep rolling. They don't want it smooth. And as far as I'm concerned, we've never not been under attack, if you will, because when you look at the fact that the district is controlled by the King of England, the Vatican, and the City of London, okay, they've always been here through the U.S. corporation. They've been manipulating America through that. So we've always had, there's always been something here that they've been doing to keep us off kilter. It's like a silent war, if you will. Most people don't know what's going on. Most people just want to live their regular lives. So they're just like, yeah, well, who cares about any of that stuff? Well, you should care, because people have waged war on you and you don't know. It's in your food. It's in your deodorant. It's in your water. It's from your cell phone. It's in your clothing. Like, there's nothing that is untainted that you experience on a daily basis. Your music. They've got red versus blue, man versus woman, this versus that. Yep. Let's jazz up the women folk to be like, oh, I don't need a man. And I'm not saying women need men. What I'm saying is that they're, whether you need a man or not, that's up to you. What I'm saying is that's part of the game, where they have YouTube people and whoever else influencing things so that men and women can be against each other. They've got the word fragrance in your deodorants and shampoos have neural disruptors in it, things that lower the male sperm count,
Testosterone level drops.
Testosterone reducers, microplastics in anything you eat that's plastic. That's why you never want to eat anything warmed up in a plastic container or water from. So other countries don't. Here's my thing too. Other countries don't allow this. Most main countries are like, and then that's how you know where it's coming from. When you're looking at other countries who are like either they're part of the problem or they're avoiding the problem, and they're like, yeah, there's food that we have that we can't even ship over to Europe because it's considered not food.
How about this? I'll do you one better, Wolf. I went to the Philippines last year, man, and the food they have over there, the brands that are available that you can buy here, taste completely different. Like I had a Sprite soda just to see how it tasted over there. It was nowhere near as sweet as the Sprite here. It tasted fresher. It was 100% different. Everything was. Even the foods are fresher. You know, not necessarily just the foods, but the fruits are more fresher, of course, because it's an island, of course. You know, the fish tasted better over there. The seasonings they used just tasted a lot more. What's the word I'm searching for? If crisp can be used to describe the flavor,
fresh,
yeah. But yeah, the foods were a whole lot better. And then if you look at even the aspect ratio of people of how overweight they are here compared to other countries, I knew a girl who moved to London for a year, and she said within 2 months she lost like 30 pounds. And I said, well, what the hell did you do? She says, well, I didn't really do many workouts. I just ate the same things I usually eat there over here. And for some reason, the weight just fell off. And it goes to show you that the ingredients they use for foods, if you take the average ingredient over there, you can even take like something like let's say a Snickers bar, and you compare it here, you know, where it would just be literal cane sugar over there would literally be like you know, whatever the stand-in would be. I can't even think of what it is right now. High fructose corn syrup and a whole lot of like yellow 5, red this, blue that. You know what I mean? Those kind of things that are naturally or unnaturally killing you and making you gain weight, losing your cognitive functions. We can talk about fluoride levels and things of that nature. People can't grasp what's happening in front of them. Not able to determine exactly what's fact or fiction from the news, just accepting everything as fact. It's just a whole lot of nonsense. Somebody in the chat said London food isn't good. That could have something to do with it. That could have something to do with it.
A lot of the food here, and I'm going to make a video on when I start making my video series, and I'm going to cover a lot of this in there. So I'll drop some of some more of it right now. Like when you look at like McDonald's Egg McMuffin that you can go to the store and get, when you look at that and you read it, and it has high fructose corn syrup in there, which is concentrated, you know, corn sugar, super sweet, dumped in there. It'll have 80% of in one patty, 80% of your entire daily recommended amount of fat intake in one muffin. I'm not saying anything about McDonald's specifically, just like that, because I don't want them to try to say I said something bad about their stuff here. But it also then has like 60% of your daily recommended amount of sodium. I used to have at least 2 of those. Who gets full on one? Was that a snack? You know what I mean? So, and that's if you have it for breakfast. And then you have, what are you going to eat for lunch? And then for dinner. Like, so on a daily basis, we are overloading our guts without even realize what's in what we're eating, not to mention the effects of what's in the aluminum, like in your deodorant. Okay, the word fragrance has over 20 different chemicals in there that they don't have to tell you about because that's part of their trademark secrets. Like, you know, exactly, proprietary formula. So you've got 20 additional chemicals that are in that word. And then you have the word like sucrose, which is sugar. And then there's the word sucralose, which has an A in there, which is a modifier, which if you look up sucralose, it actually has like 17 different chemicals in it that was put in there because originally it was supposed to be used as a deterrent for bugs in farm fields for vegetables. That one of the technicians accidentally tasted it and found out that it was sweet. And they now use it for a replacement for, and it's cheaper than sugar.
Yeah, it's a neurotoxin.
Right. So everything that we have, you know, I mean, you could go down the line, you know, the fake watermelon, the fake rice, you know, all that. It's crazy. So they've just been at war and we haven't realized it. But when the American beast wakes up, heaven help all of them. I think it was George Bush Sr. I think he was quoted as saying, when the American people wake up and realize what we've done to them, they're going to tar and feather us.
Something.
And he was
like
right.
That was
some along those lines.
Yep. Absolutely.
Bring back tarring and feathering.
Yeah. Well, in the chemtrails, have y'all seen chemtrails lately in the last 2 weeks? Because I have a lot of people acknowledging that they're not seeing them lately.
I haven't seen them in a while.
I have, you know what? It's funny you should say that, because in the back of my mind, I was noticing that, and I will definitely say that. Yeah, they have. Now here's a twist. Here's a mind bender for you too. Somebody brought this up to me. I love hearing all the things and just kind of storing it in my brain. So yeah, I will say I've noticed that I have not seen the trails lately, but it was brought up to me that what if some of that solution allegedly that's in those trails wasn't something that was sprayed to help us with any, say, non-earthly beings that might be here. That was
time.
So, okay, so you got the sea trails, right? It was brought up that how do we know that they weren't spraying those to affect non-human beings that might be on the planet?
Interesting.
It was an interesting thought.
Have you seen these videos of these electrical strikes? And in the electrical strike, you'll see a demon. Y'all seen those?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's some pretty wicked stuff. And I'm going back to CERN. That I think that's the end all be all for everything that's occurring. Definitely with the Mandela effects,
Absolutely. Yeah, the time speeding up.
Yep.
It's the particle accelerator machine. What does that run off of? Do you know?
The Hadron Collider.
Super Collider.
Magnets.
Some kind of,
electromagnetic.
Yeah, they're tied into the power grid. Like they're like a whole substation there. They have to. They can't run that on solar. They would need a.
When they turn it on, it dims the city next door.
Yeah, because they have their own substation, but that substation is still tied to the main grid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's gonna be a drain. You can't, Tesla could, but the way it's set up is that it's still all connected. You pull here, it pulls there. It's all AC. So yeah, it's I'm a firm believer that they're playing with space time, and we're somehow either time is speeding up. It's faster.
I'll go for that. Got my vote on that one. It's Friday. It seems like every time I turn around, it's Friday again. I'm like, damn.
I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying, bro. Facts.
Damn, A6 is on again? Sunday?
It's like you blink and it's like 2 days later.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, something's up. Weird world we're in right now. Weird times.
Yeah, Alex says, I'm having a mix of deja vu and premonition. Yeah, I've experienced all that as well. There's something they've played with the harmonics of the planet or something, or they're transmitting some kind of field that's having some kind of effect.
Did you guys hear
And
about that story that there's supposed to be a meteor or something like that that's supposed to hit Earth or something of that nature, and the meteor is supposed to have some kind of crystal that's supposed to unlock abilities in people?
Nope.
You didn't hear this? Actually,
No.
I think I read this like a month ago. But you know, when crystals hit Earth, a lot of these crystals have different metaphysical functions and things of that nature. One of the ones that are the most popular that people talk about is moldavite. So there's been multiple accounts of people who have touched or come in contact with moldavite that they've had like serious changes in their lives. Like, you might have somebody that gets a moldavite crystal and they might literally lose their job and then lose their house and be forced to move to a whole nother state, start a business, and then become like really successful in a whole other state. So these crystals and things of that nature supposedly have metaphysical abilities. And it's been said that there's supposed to be a meteor this year that's supposed to hit Earth, not like causing anything that's catastrophic in terms of damage, but this specific crystal is supposed to unlock abilities in certain people. Now, it doesn't say what abilities or what, not necessarily going to turn into Goku from Dragon Ball Z or anything like that, but the metaphysical properties these crystals are supposed to have is supposed to change the abilities of certain people.
Well, don't forget that our inside of us is the pineal gland, which is a crystal, and so we're literally connected to a crystal. We all have a crystal inside of our brain, which, the Egyptians were talking about and certain other cultures are talking about. So crystals have unique property. They can amplify, they can receive power, they can transmit, they can absorb, you know what I mean? So that's one of the alleged things that was said is that, like they're trying to put these frequencies out that detune or muffle our ability to use that higher spirituality, and then also like, the fluoride is also supposed to be something that calcifies the gland itself. The big thing, if you want to believe in all the energy and light versus dark, good versus evil, is that, we are creators. We are living energy, and they don't want us to fully become spiritual. They don't want us to know how much power we actually have. They just want to milk us like a vampire would want, a body in a bag and he can just feed off of it. That's what they want to do. They're like energy vampires. They just want to take our energy, and that energy can come in the form of physical, spiritual, financial, whatever else it is, but they want to harness that. That's one of the big things.
Yeah, 1,000%. Somebody said, side note, I use my passport card number for tax exempt at Dollar Tree. Nice. Nice. It's always good to get that win, man. You know what I'm saying? That zero tax exempt sale.
Yep. Yeah, we broke that one a while back. These things aren't going away.
I was here, man, when we cracked the code on that. I was there. I think it was me, and you, and it was trying to say
receipts with national and tax exempt after using their passport number. Like I said, when I was dealing with the states and the government asking them, they were very short. They were not trying to have it. And I swear, I think they put up one website page for me in about an hour when they were giving me the answer. They're like, here, use this link. And it just said that. Bro, it looks so cheesy. I could do a better job in my sleep. All right. It was one page. It looked like they weren't even finished with it. It was like I got there too quick. It said literally some passports are exempt and others are not. That's all they said. That is all they said. They gave me an official link to go and read something. It was like they were like, hold on, I got something. Let me just. Oh, shit, he's already on the site. Damn. Oh, here you go. That's all it said.
Shit, I got something for you right there, man. We talking about the passport card, man. There's 9 digits after the letter underneath the picture. Those are 9 digits. What else has 9 digits? An EIN, social security number. Just putting it out there. It also starts with an 8, which is not all of them. Some of them starts with 8, but I think I've seen somebody else who started with a 9. But so apparently they didn't issue any social security numbers under, I think it was 9, 6, and 8. Check me on that, Floyd, if I'm not correct. But there were no social security numbers issued under the numbers 9, 8. I know those two for a fact, and I think 6 was another one. So it just makes you wonder, what exactly is that number there? You know, is it a situation where this number is supposed to be used in certain circumstances where, benefits can apply or our rights are supposed to be enforced? That's one question I never got answered yet.
I did hear in the back channel that is a exemption number where, and I can't prove any of this, so once again, all education entertainment, that it's, let's say if you were over, I mean, I guess you could use it here, but if you're over in a country and you were to use that, like basically the government picks up the bill when you use that, because we're all tied to the trust anyway. So I have heard that it can't, I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to where. All I'm saying is I just heard this. It was just a liner I got from somebody in the back, and they were like, yeah, that's essentially you're out and about, open direct channel to the government picks up the bill when that is in use. That's all I can tell you.
And all I'm gonna say is this: I did go to a bank when I was in the Philippines, and just why not while I'm there? So I said, if I wanted to open up I'm an American. If I wanted to open up a bank account, what exactly would you need from me? She says, well, do you have a passport? I said, I absolutely do. So she says, okay, first thing they want to do is hand you over an IRS form. And the form basically wants you to put your social security number and all that stuff. Because, if they assume you're a U.S. citizen. So I can't remember what form it was. It wasn't a W-4, I don't think. It was some other kind of form where they asked, it might have been a W-9, I don't know. But it was one of those forms that they want you to put your information on there. So if that is true, I wonder, and this is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not telling you to do anything, but if what you say is fact, I'm wondering if that number can be used for that purpose. As long as you specify on that it's not a social security number, it's a identification number, which it technically is. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. Now, again, this is just speculation. I can't prove any of that.
Have you heard the stories of people taking their property tax bill, into the county tax assessor's office, giving them their passport card along with their tax bill, and they go in the back, come back out and say, okay, thank you for coming in, give them a receipt, taken care of?
Yeah, I have heard about stories of this happening.
We were doing that. A lot of the people in California is where, for me, it started. So we were talking about it, and one of my clients actually did that. And after he had that success, I lightly talked about it and had a ton of people in California doing that. I don't know how far it has spread, but yeah, that is like here, they're like, yeah, no, F that. They're like, we ain't having that. I'm still at war with them here. But in California, yeah, you would think that would be the place where they would give you the trouble in that area. And here it would be easy. It's actually opposite. So, but yeah, because once your passport, you show them that legally you're in America, and you're telling them I'm a national, and they're only supposed to be taxing U.S. citizens. Right. And remember, and here's one of the things that even where's I going with it? So on the government level, according to their GPO styles manual, the all capitalized name is you. They don't play the whole state level UCC conspicuous format when it comes to that. So when you use your name in all caps of the government, according to them and their printed manual, the GPO styles manual is authenticated. The all caps is you, and that's how they refer to you. It is you. However, on the state level, that's the legal person. Just so you guys know. Because in the GPO, it says, roughly, it says, due to various customs and, whatevers, the use of the all capitalized, we do not adhere to any local traditions, customs, or whatever else of the all caps name, is what they say. Which would make sense, because if they are, in fact, operating under the geographical jurisdiction of the United States of America, we know that the states, which are corporations and foreign, they're operating under Black Laws Dictionary, UCC, and that is the contractual different jurisdiction. So I just found that interesting that they stated that in the GPO styles manual.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, that number, man, that number can be used in different places on, I believe, different places in different forms. Can't say which ones, but in terms of exercising certain rights, that number should be able to be used on certain forms to get certain outcomes. And I'll leave it there because we're in the public.
Yeah. So yeah, we're still, like I said, we're still learning, but yeah, it's interesting. The different layers of jurisdictions and one, you have to you deal with them then differently. You know what I mean? Because like we've been putting the government on notice as to who and what we are, which is, good. But if we're telling them, hey, we're not that straw man, that might be why some people, they've been like, we don't know what you're talking about. It's because they don't see the straw man. They see that name as actually being you, but it's the states. Now remember, you've got like, say, Florida state, and then there's state of Florida. Well, state of Florida, okay, that's the corporation. The organic and the de jure is Florida state. Those are two separate things. All right. So Florida, or state of Florida, is that corporation that is registered through the District of Columbia, and we know who owns that. So they're operating, all the state ofs are operating together, bringing in U.S. citizens, and then it's so big that they call it the public, but really it's a PMA. That's a private members association, and they're operating everybody as members of theirs, because under 8 U.S.C. 1101 22B, you can choose between those two. You can choose between a national or a U.S. citizen. So they're like, hey, if you're not smart enough to figure out what's going on and you want to claim to be a U.S. citizen, we'll take your money. We'll take your stuff. Thank you for registering all your stuff. When there's no law that says you have to register anything.
Only statutes and codes. Now, question, wasn't there a Supreme Court case that said that corporations cannot interface with natural persons? I don't think they said people. I think
corporations can deal with corporations. Corporations can deal with persons. Persons, though 99% of the time, are construed to be associations or legal persons, legal entities, and whatnot. But within the definition of person is natural person. So they kind of like, it's what you're saying is true, but how they've kind of, and I don't know if the law has kind of overstepped itself in a way, but they kind of wrote it in where a living person can interface with a non-living entity, but they're not supposed to contract. So you can deal with them, but you're not supposed to directly contract. And we know that we can deal with them directly because that's what our name is in all capitalized letters, is that state created legal person made fact by the birth certificate. So we're interfacing with that document and pretending it's us. And then that legal person is then interfacing with these municipalities and corporations. So if we can do that with this, it's doing that with that. So that's how they kind of muddy it all together. Because like back in the day, that's how I used to get out of all kind of things, is because I think even in the UCC, it stated that a living person cannot be indebted to a non-living thing, and living people cannot directly interface with corporations. So I used to use that one all the time and get it. And then they kind of changed that code a little bit, to be more conducive. Like my man Floyd was saying earlier, just kind of muddy it up a little bit, change it, make some new statutes, kind of edge away from that a little bit. Because when it's a hard line like that, they're like, oh, we're getting our asses whooped with this. we need to soften this up a little bit. What do you guys say? Yeah, I think we're all on the same page here. Yeah, let's go ahead. So moved.
True that. Yep. Anytime we start to catch on to what's going on, they always got to move the goalpost a little bit. That's just the nature of the game, I suppose.
Yes. Okay, so Lex says at Wisconsin, the state of courts have switched the name on the docket from John Q. Doe to all caps John, from that to that on the docket. Seems quite suspicious. Oh yeah, because they watch my videos. You're absolutely right. They changed that. They're tired of getting their asses whooped by that statement. Remember, at the end of the day, they're governing themselves. They cannot deny you of your constitutional rights. Okay. So they change it. So because they're tired of getting their asses whooped, and maybe they now understand that what they were doing wasn't quite correct, that our names really should have been in the upper and lower case, not the all uppercase. However, according to Black Law's dictionary, capitis dimitio maxima, or all capitalized letters, is a full reduction and loss of rights. However, the upper and lowercase name, so upper letter and lowercase, still means you have 1 foot in the public. That's capitis medius, which means that you are still their property. If you have a cake and you put some dog shit in it, and if the cake is all dog shit, then the whole cake is bad, obviously. So all that they're doing is they're removing more of the dog poop and adding more cake. It's still got poop in it. The upper and lowercase. That's why you almost always see my name, like here on the Bad Wolf, it's always in all lowercase, because they can't address you directly in the all lowercase name. They have to address your entity, and then you interpret it for the entity. The all lowercase name is capitis minimus, which is natural, native. They can't control that. So yeah, I don't care if they move in the upper and lowercase. I'm gonna have the same argument. You have to address my entity or my legal person. You can't address me directly, because in the private, we are their boss.
Right.
Can't
Somebody
tell you
asked,
what's that?
yeah, somebody asked why it's still all capital on the passport.
It's still all capitalized on the passport because the government, they use all caps. And the government, according to the GPO Styles Manual, they don't care about the local custom of the states, which is a different jurisdiction, and their use of conspicuous format. In the UCC book, I think it's in the definition section under UCC 1-201. UCC 1-201 definitions talks about conspicuous format. And the government itself does not utilize conspicuous format. Conspicuous format is, break it down, in the UCC book. And what does that stand for? Uniform Commercial Code, which operates hand in hand with the Black Law's Dictionary, which is all British, English, or oriented, created, used here by the states. The states are nothing but corporations with ties back to England. So they're using American sounding names. They're not going to call it British Texas. No, they're going to call it State of Texas. You know what I mean? They're not going to call it Royal England, Florida. No, they're not. Why? That would be like you going to Russia and you want to create, I don't know, say a chicken joint. You're going to call it Russian fried chicken or American fried chicken. They're going to be like, well, now they probably would like American fried chicken, but back in the day, they wouldn't have bought in your chicken calling it American fried chicken. They would have spit on it and kicked you in the nuts. If you're going to do business, you go over there and you call it Russian fried chicken. They're going to be like, oh, okay. Never seen any black Russians making chicken, but I'll try it. You have to sell your product. So the state, oh, those are federal territories. They're like, hey, you guys can operate underneath this window, but don't deny anybody their constitutional rights. But if they agree, then you can basically get away with doing whatever you want to do as long as they're doing it willingly. We just didn't know we had the ability to step away from them. We didn't know that they were legally foreign, and anything that then creates a business underneath them is legally foreign. That's why you don't want to go through the state when to get your EIN. You go right to the government, irs.gov, get it directly from them. You don't have to worry about paying your state tax and whatever else, educationally speaking. You don't have to worry about paying that yearly franchise fee because you're a subsidiary of the corporation known as the state of.
Right. Absolutely.
That's some heat, bro.
I mean, everybody can do what they want to do, but yeah, that's really what it is.
You have any success? I had a consultation the other day, and a guy was asking me what the success rate was of the administrative process. Basically, when you send them multiple notices, somebody says you owe this, and you send them one notice, basically asking them a series of questions, conditional acceptance of such. I've had great success with that, man. Great success.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've been whooping them across the board. I mean, in all the agencies where that's an issue. Yeah. Most of the time they can't validate the debt. You can ask I'm asking for a verification and a validation of this debt. That's one of the things right out of the gate. If you're going to do the administrative process that way, tell them to verify it, validate it. Where did they get the information from in the first place to do that in the first? They got it from you. So how are they going to validate something you gave them? You can say, oh, you know what? I made a mistake. You can use like a 1040X. I think you can go back 3 years and change your submissions for taxing. They want to get you for $10,000 last year. Redo it. Make sure you claim your deductions properly with a trained professional licensed tax consultant.
Right. There you go. Yeah. So the conditional acceptance, like I was telling a guy, like you send your notices in, he was insisting, well, can't I just do one and then notice a default? No, you can't, because you have to make sure there's clear effort to go into it with clean hands and make sure the notices were distributed. And you have to have the certified mail slips and the green return slips as well to indicate that they were sent. And send 3 of those. And then when there's no response, because they won't be able to answer any of the questions. The way I draft mines up, there's no way they could possibly answer any of the questions. Because obviously half the time, these people don't even know what the hell is going on anyway. The lower level functionaries or gatekeepers are literally just there to keep the wheels turning on the machine. So when I'm sending these notices to them, I make sure I draft them in such a way that it's written that these questions can't really be answered. You got 10 days to respond. If not, you got another one coming at you. Once those 3 happen, notice a default and opportunity to cure, basically asking the same questions. But this time, you got a nice little notary jurat at the bottom that you get notarized. Once that's notarized, now you have an affidavit of non-response that you can actually use to nail them to the wall. So once that happens, there's really no way they can sue you. If it's a situation where you're getting sued by a debt collector, well, before it even gets to that, if you have a debt that there's allegedly owed and you send these notices out, there's really no way they can sue because you have an affidavit of non-response. So if they were to try to take you to court, you can effectively, for educational and informational purpose only, bring that with you, administer that into evidence, and then countersue for wasting your freaking time and having to go to court. So you can actually countersue in that particular manner. Once you get a non-response, that's pretty much nothing a lawyer can do or say. Like, why didn't your client respond to this? Where is the client? The client's never there. The one who's suing is never there. It's always the lawyer, which is basically a debt collector. That's pretty much what it is. The lawyer got your information basically because that law firm purchased it for pennies on the dollar, expecting you to be able to, or even try to pay it off, a fraction of it, make a deal with you, or you not to show up in the court in default. Now they can go ask to put liens on your stuff or try to levy bank accounts and get money back from it in that particular fashion. So these are some of the dirty games that these people will play against you and try to take advantage of you.
I start out by saying, where's the contract? You can't force me to do nothing. I don't care if you got a debt that has my name on it. If you don't have the contract bearing my signature that ties me to it, too bad, so sad. You bought a debt from somebody with my name on it, your fault. Your fault. Because if me and you don't have a contract, you bought that contract from them. So you paid my debt. Thank you. Appreciate you. Good looking out, sport. I never agreed to pay you. So if you don't have it on there, you can buy the debt all you want. You paid my debt. Thanks. Appreciate you. Show me the contract. And they always back down because most of them destroy or monetize the contracts and they don't have them. So they don't have the contract. We're done. I don't even need to argue any of the rest of it. I just throw the other stuff in there for good measure. And then I tell them, like, look, hey, if you bought the debt, how do I know that the other company didn't discharge the debt? So then you could be trying to collect on a debt twice. You know, I know that you paid a fraction of the debt. So if you really wanted to pay it, how much did you pay? And I'll pay just over that. Otherwise, I don't have to. As long as you don't make the first payment to somebody else who buys your debt, you do not owe them anything by law. But the moment you make one payment, new contract has just started. You got to keep paying.
You accepted it. 100%.
All right, gents. Well, we are in at 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think we've covered a lot of ground here and probably a lot of new stuff for some people. And with that being said, I think we're going to wrap it up. So I guess either one of you guys want to go first and tell them who you are, where they can find your stuff, your channel, your anything you want to market real quick, and then pass on to the next, and we'll wrap it up.
We're doing it like we started it, alphabetical order.
All right, absolutely. So I guess I'm up first. All right, it is A6, the Foreign National Born Natural. Many of you are already subscribed to my YouTube channel. I can't type in the chat, so one of you guys who follow me on YouTube, please drop that in, and Wolf, could you throw that on the main screen? I will say it verbally anyway. It's A-6_ grind time on YouTube, A6 grind time _ on Instagram if you want to follow me there. What else? And if you want to email me for consultations or any questions you may have, A-6_ grind time @protonmail.com. You can email me and I can set you up for consultation. If you're not in the Telegram group, it is invite only. It's completely private. You have to email me and I can send you the link so you can join in.
And he's from Baltimore, Maryland.
Be more in the house. No. Home of the wire.
No shit, right? First of all, let's all congratulate James on his achievement of getting 69,000 subscribers on YouTube. For somebody who has 9, almost close to 10 myself, that is a stellar accomplishment. So kudos and all accolades to James and his achievement. So well-deserving to a well-deserving man. Thank you again for inviting me on the show. I am Fearless Floyd. I got that moniker in prison. I didn't know it. It was given to me. And if you go check out my channel, The Fearless Floyd Show, over on YouTube and all the other social media platforms, you'll totally understand why they call me Fearless Floyd. I do offer a trust book that was written by Ann LaFleur, has 7 different trusts in it. So if you're interested in something like that, I offer an ebook, a physical book. It's available at the fearlessfloydshow.com website. Go check me out over there. I am The Fearless Floyd Show across every social media platform. The Fearless Floyd Show at yahoo.com is my email. You can email me. Most of you guys have my phone number. If you don't, it's readily available. Just please don't call me before 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's pretty much how I roll. I'm very free with my time. I try not to charge anybody anything. I do a consultation here and there. I do take donations, but money doesn't make me. Money doesn't break me. I have some classes coming up tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and again on the 8th. If you want to go check those out, get involved. The P.O. Box class is by Jesse, my co-producer, and he is getting some successes across the board. Some successes he'll call and they'll say, "Oh yeah, we already took care of that, Jesse." And he's like, "What? What do you mean you already took care of it?" How'd that happen? What do you mean you took care of it? But okay, I'm good with it. But so he's on the path, and I've told you, all you guys, the only person I know in this movement that was as close to getting stuff like that happening, warrants going away, court cases going away, bills going away, debts going away, school loan went away, that would be Jesse. So he's a man on a mission, and God bless him for what he's doing. So he's doing that class, PO Box class. It's a 3-module class. It's $10 a class, folks. So go jump in on that. I am doing an experimental class on a process. Once you see all the information, you'll get it. You'll go, oh, okay, that's definitely a plausible avenue, Floyd. The problem is it's just me. I'm attacking one case. I would like other people to do it with me on other jurisdictions, on the local, county, parish, state, and federal level. Even on the international level, it would work. So I'm looking people to join me with that. I'm offering the class for $20. It's next Wednesday. So if that's something you're interested in, you have a pending or prior court case that you would like to make disappear, this is a potential avenue to make it happen. So when you see everything and it's explained to you, you'll get it right off the bat. I promise you. You'll be like, oh, okay, I've never seen that, and that's plausible. And I just sent you that manual when you go crack that thing open. And I found that today is a perfect compendium to that process. So come check me out over there. And with that, I'll digress and give the floor back to our illustrious, infamous Department of State recognized Bad Wolf.
Apparently, Department of State, multiple police officers. Apparently, when my name is mentioned, lawyers shudder. That came from Brandon Joe Williams. Shout out to him as well. His crazy self, Mr. Pickleman. His people are like, yeah, when the Bad Wolf's name was mentioned and Brandon, they said that they went all. So apparently recognized everywhere, including the people over at Cornell Law EDU. I know they watch as well. I see in your little updates to certain codes and things. So once again, thank you guys for being on the show. Definitely all the people who are watching. Make sure you guys check out the Fearless Floyd Show and A6 Grind Time, also on YouTube. These guys speak the truth. I rarely vouch for anybody on this show. I vouch for these two men. All right. So thanks to these guys helping me, I help them. We are a family. This whole, like, you see a lot of these gurus out here. Oh, don't listen to so-and-so and don't, like, a lot of them are just jealous of what we have because we can agree to disagree and still move forward. These other people want all the money. They want all the attention. They want all the look at me, look at me. If you notice, we don't do that. That's not what we're here for. We're here to get the message out and at the same time make a living doing what we enjoy. We love this. We love helping ourselves. We love helping other people. We love helping everybody. So that's the difference. So as always, guys, be careful who you get your information from, but vet the information. Don't just run out doing a whole bunch of crazy things, especially if it's going to involve trying to get something from nothing. The money, all out of all these. Be careful when it comes to if you're in your mind like, I want to get all the money. If you're trying to get that, be careful because that is where they will bang you. You always have the ability to declare who and what you are, discharge things. Those things we have down and mastered. You can create brand new trusts and faith-based organizations and domestic taxes. Yeah, you can do all that stuff and operate privately. But if you're trying to actively milk money out of the system, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying that it's not a thing. You don't have that as a benefit there, but be careful because not everybody on your screen has your best interests in mind. But I know these two brothers right here and myself definitely do, because otherwise I wouldn't rock with them, and I rock with them hard. So with that being said, you guys take care of yourselves. Stay blessed out there. Stay healthy. Thank you for helping me to get to 69,000. Might as well just say 70 in the next probably like half a month or month. Let's just get that 100. And then that'll be my top. But let's also get Floyd and A6 up to the next bracket too, because these guys are putting in good work and they've got fire information, and they will help you. You know, they'll dang near give you the shirt off their back. All right. And that's saying a lot, because we know how most people move in the world today. All right. So appreciate somebody who's in your corner, you know, and that's definitely all of us. So thank you guys for supporting. Don't forget to check out Black Site 32. We literally just had almost 500,000 people go through that site. That is crazy to me. So hit the subscribe on there. With that being said, guys, everybody watching, thank you guys for helping us to let us do what we enjoy doing. So as you guys help us, we're going to help you guys back. So take care, promote, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night.
Everybody have a safe, happy 4th of July weekend. If you're going on vacation, don't come back on probation.
All right, everybody, take care.
Have a good weekend.
Have a great summer.
All right, peace.